saw yesterday, not everyone is in love with this president's policies on the Democratic side. During a televised one-hour town hall yesterday, the president faced tough questions from his supporters. Watch.
Quite frankly, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted of defending you, defending your administration, defending the mantle of change that I voted for, and deeply disappointed with where we are right now. I have been told that I voted for a man who said he was going to change things in a meaningful way for the middle class. I'm one of those people, and I'm waiting, sir. I'm waiting. I don't feel it yet.
Okay. The initial reaction to this clip for me was, well, it's about time. But this is an interesting moment that goes deeper than the president. This woman is very sincere, and she wasn't the only one that stood up. She wants to believe, but she can't help but ask, is this it? Is this the best you can do? Unfortunately, if she believes in what we showed earlier, the first choice of the free market system, yes, this is going to be as good as it gets. But if you believe in the redistribution of wealth and global government run by elites, if you're in America, the answer is yes, this is about as good as it's going to get. Remember, this is the beginning. This is the fun part. This is when all the cash that he's dumped into the system is still flowing through our economic bloodstream. What happens when all the cash goes away? Or if we have yet another stimulus package and all we're left with is the debt? The president tries to make himself appear as a pragmatist, but he's not. He is an ideologue, a pragmatic ideologue, but an ideologue nonetheless. He's going to have to endure his own supporters abandoning him. And if that's the case, then he has to make sure that his time isn't wasted. The redistribution of wealth is just starting. The American standard of life is changing, and it is fueled by global unions closely tied to this administration and this idea that America is unfair to the rest of the world. And to raise up the rest of the world, we have no choice but to face hardship ourselves. They haven't told you this yet, but all of their actions and all of the words around it tell you this. Now, you're going to have hardship unless you're in the union leadership, and then you're having drinks with the most powerful people in the world twice a week. You're protected. But if you're a union member, you're a pawn to these people. I get calls occasionally on my radio show from union members who are mad at me, and they say, stop bashing the unions. Why are you targeting me or acting like I'm lazy or I'm hurting the economy? And I apologize if I have come off that way. I tell them the same thing every time. This is not about union members. The vast majority of union members want the best for themselves. They want a fair pay. They also want what's best for their families, their coworkers, but they also want what's right for the country. The union leadership, however, is another story. For example, Andy Stern, the most frequent visitor of the early Obama White House, former head of SEIU, and member of the President's National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform. This is a guy who's constantly talking about the global worker. Not talking about you, the union member. The global worker. Workers of the world, as he says.
Workers of the world unite. It's not just a slogan anymore. It's a way we're going to have to do our work.
We took names. We watched how they voted. We know where they live.
We're trying to use the power of persuasion. And if that doesn't work, we're going to use the persuasion of power.
We created global trade. We created global finance. We created global companies. But we forgot to create a global government.
There are opportunities in America to share better in the wealth, to rebalance the power, and unions and government are part of the solution.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought unions were supposed to be about the American worker. When did that stop?